This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield on ESPN Radio 94.1.
757 Saturday Sports Talk is brought to you each and every week by Larry King Law. If you're injured in an accident, you call 757-INJURED for Larry King. Matt Hatfield back here with you. We're now pleased to be joined by a special guest. He is the head football coach in his first year at the helm of the Lakeland Cavaliers out of Suffolk, Virginia. Their season opener set for August the 26th at home against the Manor Mustangs from Portsmouth. And we say good morning and congrats on the new position to coach Marcus Cutler out there. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great, sir. Good morning to everyone.
Yeah, pleasure having you on the show. Let's introduce you to the Hampton Roads area for those that are unfamiliar, unaware of Marcus Cutler, his background, and where he's been, where he's coached before, high school days, college days. Fill us in on all that if you can, taking us up to you accepting this position at Lakeland this year.
All right. Well, I am a native of Suffolk. Had a good high school career at John F. Kennedy High School at the time, and went on to play football for Joe Taylor at Virginia Union for 4 years. And from there, got into my coaching career after ending football for myself. And I started coaching Pop Warner and then into high school football for JV and varsity. I coached a while at Portsmouth Christian. Well, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. I coached at John F. Kennedy Middle School first. I began that program over there for the middle school for 6 years, and then went to Portsmouth Christian. And I was fortunate enough to coach at Northumberland High School up in Heathville, Virginia, and I was the athletic director there. From there, I went over to Churchton, where I've been the last 5 years, under Dontrell Leonard as the linebackers coach and running backs coach there. And now I've landed back home in my native Suffolk at Lakeland.
Wow, interesting journey. Some twists and turns along the way. But you mentioned the name Joe Taylor, who is well regarded across this area and beyond. I imagine you've got some neat Joe Taylor stories to tell us. You got one or two to share?
Yeah, quite sure. Our coach always had a way to make you think about your decisions to play football for Virginia Union or go ahead and pack your things up and go home. It was just as simple with him. And he always told the freshmen, he said, if you're in your dorm room in the middle of the night and you hear a bunch of noise, sound like a knocking going down the steps, he said, don't get up. That's the guy that will not be here tomorrow with you. They pack their stuff up, pack their suitcase and foot locker, and they're trying to sneak out the dorm room before practice starts the next day. That's so true, because I heard that noise several times.
Yeah, you have to love and appreciate the brutal honesty and truths from guys like him. He's a wily veteran and was one of the best for sure. Now, in addition to him, I'm sure he instilled a lot in you. Who are some other mentors and people that have helped inspire you and tutor you along the way in becoming a head coach?
Well, I have to give credit to my first coach, Charles Matthews, who gave me an opportunity when I first started playing football, Pop Warner. He surprised me on Wednesday at my practice. He had heard the news and came to see me. But I was kind of a chubby guy starting off in Pop Warner, and he didn't cut me. He just made me work to lose the weight. So just seeing something in me at a young age at that point, I gained a passion, to love to play football. Moving into high school, I had two high school coaches, Willie Ricks, who is deceased at this time now, and, of course, John Kendall, who was very inspirational in me going to Virginia Union. He came in from Southampton County, and he really took the reins for guys who were had an interest in going to college. He gave us some direction, and I earned a full football scholarship to Virginia Union under his direction. I can't say anything less about Coach Joe Taylor. There's so much more if we had the time, but he helped to develop us as men and then athletes. Of course, I got some inspirational people here in the city of Suffolk. My former pastor, Dr. Reverend Melvin R. Boone, he was my childhood pastor who he instilled the time with the kids at his church. And he always told us to go out and do great things. And so, that kind of stuck with me as a youth. And I have to give credit to all my teachers, who pushed me, beyond what I could think academically. And then that way, I could qualify in order to play, collegiate football. But my mom, I can't say enough about her. She was a single parent. And my hat's off to my mom. She's always been my hero. She was serving in two roles.
Awesome. That's great to hear. We're talking with new football coach at Lakeland High School, Marcus Cutler, here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1. I'm showing, Coach, if it's correct, your two scrimmages, August the 13th, the Jamboree at Bertie in North Carolina, and at Denby on August the 19th. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. Now, let's tell us about the start of camp for you all at Lakeland, how that's gone here. Practices has been mighty hot outside, and I'm sure it's always a struggle those first couple of days. And even at a school like Lakeland, I know the numbers aren't as large as some of the Class 6, Class 5 schools, but how have you all battled the heat and conditions as you gear up for this year?
We know with the heat indices being over 100, 105, we have to stay inside and practice. So our AD, Greg Roundtree, has given us space inside the building, to be able to do so. Sometime being in the gym, and of course we have used the cafeteria for the past 2 days for space. But I've used that for store practice. I call it, to do classroom instruction. We use that open space for walkthroughs, and of course our weight room. Our weight program is number one for us in building our team. So I haven't been too uneasy, but at the same time, I'm ready to get outside.
I hear you completely. Well, before we get to your players, tell us a little bit about your coaching staff. I imagine that was always when you get the position as head football coach, one of the first orders of business. Who am I going to have as my offensive coordinator, my defensive coordinator, and all that finalized for you now?
I have yes and no.
Okay.
I'm serving as the head coach and, of course, the defensive coordinator. I brought in two gentlemen that they were hired at different times because I was waiting on commitment from either one. So my offensive side of the ball is going to be coached by two guys. I have a running coordinator. His name is James Barnes. He brings a lot of experience, from Lake Tail. I think he coached there for a number of years.
Yeah, it was a line coach, right? Or one of the coaches up front, I think?
Yes, sir, he is. He's also our offensive line coach and our running coordinator. I brought a young guy in who was excited about our passing game. I brought in Tyrone Cowan, who is our passing coordinator. And then, of course, we have some young guys like Justin Tico. He is working as our receiver coach. And Coach Bryant Roundtree, who is a legend here at Lakeland, he's our running back coach on varsity. And Greg Paul, he serves as our co-linebacker coach with me.
All right, good deal. Now, from last season, I happened to catch a game in person on a Saturday. It was rainy when the squad lost a tough one against Nansemond River, city rival there. But the two things that stood out to me, Coach, massive offensive line, and all those kids, for the most part, if I recall, were juniors, sophomores, and a running back who was among the area's leaders in Demarion Jordan. So tell me you got Jordan back, and the offensive line is going to be a strength. Am I on point there?
You're on point. There was one guy that I didn't fail to mention, but I hadn't got to that. I'm glad you asked that question. Johnny Milo is our strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
He's retired Navy, and he's a fitness instructor. He is probably my secret weapon in developing these kids physically. So we should see a difference this year in our strength and endurance. Not trying to play Ironman football, but if I have to, I think I'll be prepared.
What should we expect? Should we expect a lot of the running game as you develop the passing game and some of the timing with elements for your squad? Is that going to be the bread and butter, you think, hand the ball off to Jordan because he's capable of getting 1,500-plus yards this year if everything goes right?
I do think so. We have all 5 returning starters off our offensive line. And, of course, our starting running back. It would be not in my best interest to come in and try to change that. Mm-hmm. To build upon what's already here, and then instill our passing game to become better than last year.
Defensively, any names we should watch out for, and what are we expecting as far as scheme and style without giving away all the secrets?
Well, I'm going to have an aggressive front, odd and even, if we decide to do that. Right now, my secondary is a bunch of young guys who are all track runners, believe it or not. I recruited some guys off of the track team who were able to come out and play on both sides of the ball, the receiver as well as the secondary. So I think my key this year, though, is I'm returning my inside linebacker. He had a slight injury during soccer season, but he's rehabbed and he's back, as well as my senior leadership. There's a young man who's going to play inside linebacker this year, Tyler Davis. He's a 4-year veteran here at Lakeland. He'll be playing on the offensive side as well as the defensive side. And I'm expecting some great things from him and his leadership. One of my big returners on both sides of the ball, especially the offensive side, is going to be Justin Reyes. He's already been offered by Old Dominion this summer during a camp over there. 6'5", 300. He will be a great impact player for us.
Couple more minutes here with Marcus Cutler, the new head football coach of the Lakeland Cavaliers, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk as the Cavs get ready for that season opener at Lakeland High against the Manor Mustangs. They got a couple of road games that follow with Southampton and Booker T. Walsh, and also play host to Smithfield before the remainder of their slate against Southeastern District foes such as Great Bridge, Deep Creek, Nansemond River, Indian River, Kings Fork, and Hickory. It's ESPN Radio 94.1. Any couple more names you would like to shout out, Coach, as far as a breakout player or two through the first couple of days of practice off season that maybe you and your staff didn't notice a whole lot when you got there, but could end up being an impact player?
Yes. Guy's a freshman currently, started as a freshman last year on the defensive side of the ball, and his name is R.J. Jones. He will be an impact player for us. I talked him into playing a little wide receiver this year, but I think defensively he will be probably our leading tackler if he doesn't get hurt, or maybe even leading in our pass defense. He done well this year in our camps. Some of our 7-on-7s, he had good highlights, and in some of the college camps that he attended, he actually got camper of the day down in North Carolina State. So I'm excited to have him here and expect some great things from him.
Awesome. And lastly, Coach, give the listeners out there, the Lakeland Cavaliers fans, what your outlook is on the year, what it's going to take to be successful, and tell the people out there about this motto you've got. It's SWAT, S-W-A-T, what that means and sort of the principles behind it. Yes.
Right now, coming in, the Lakeland football program is totally revamped, from our facilities, starting with that. That's the biggest hype that we have going on. We have a new turf field as well as a new staff and new administration this year. So Lakeland is on the move, and we're mixing some of the old in with the new, and be able to move forward and should have an impact this year in the Southeastern District. SWAT is something that I was just at home, mulling over. How can I give a theme that means something to the school? And SWAT basically means stronger, we are together. And being able to do that, if you ball your fist up, all your 5 fingers come together, and you can swat anything or you can punch anything. So I kind of got that idea from that analogy. Stronger we are together, and look out for the Lakeland SWAT team.
All right, I can dig it. I got some people I want to punch when I ball my fist up together, Coach, and you're not one of them. And then the SWAT, when I'm at home and I see the bugs flying around, I want to swat some of them. So you got me. You got me sold on it, Coach. I'm all on board with SWAT.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And I also like you guys, if I heard you right, you said artificial turf, so that's going to begin this year?
The turf is installed. They're doing a few final adjustments to that.
Okay.
Our goalposts actually went up this week, so the kids are excited from a distance because we haven't been able to go out there and begin to practice on it yet. But they promised August 26th, our first game shall be ready. No. So the anticipation from the city, being able to honor us and being able to do the school board system and being able to start here with Lakeland with that. I think the pressure's on, and the pressure's on to see what happens down at Lakeland. I'm looking forward to rising to that occasion one game at a time.
That's awesome. So we don't have to worry about all that quagmire when the mud and the rain and the muck comes out with the weather. You guys can play on that nice turf field. That'd be great. Keep kids healthy, too. Well, Coach, thank you so much for the time today. Congratulations on this job. I know it's going to be exciting times for you and the Cavaliers this year. Keep in touch and all the best.
Hey, listen, I got one final comment I would like to make.
Yeah, go ahead.
My 12th man on the field is really not on the field, and I use this analogy, and I forgot to say this earlier. And the 12th man on the field is my wife, because she's been my number one support system from me, starting this journey here 22 years ago, but especially this year. And so I would like to give that 12th man a shout out. She's my 12th man, my wife, Angela Cutler.
Angela Cutler, that's right. Make sure she gets the hugs and kisses after victory number 1, because she, even though you're going to do a good job and your staff will, she's going to be the main one responsible for it. So,
yes, sir.
That's right.
Sounding board.
No doubt. You got to have those sounding boards for sure. Well, Coach, thank you so much. All the best, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
You got it. Marcus Cutler, new head football coach of the Lakeland Cavaliers. He's got the SWAT motto, and they're ready for the artificial turf in Game 1 against Manor coming up August 26th. Our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. When we come back, we'll have another special guest with us before Taquan Smoke Mizell ventures into our Virginia Beach studios, and we're talking about sports director from WHSV TV3, the ABC affiliate for the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, TJ Eck, to talk about Sunbelt Media Days, JMU, ODU, and much, much more. We are the home for Monarchs football, ESPN Radio 94.1.